Alright, here we go with a long overdue update. I went ahead and harvested a whole bunch of peppers before I did this video, which I didn't intend to do. I just forgot to do the video first, but anyway, I'll show you the peppers later. But here's my orange tree habanero, still growing great, still putting out a lot of pods. You can see there's several ripe ones on there, and I keep snipping them off and just tossing them because I don't normally eat them. But it continues to grow. It just keeps going. I don't know if I'll overwinter that one or not again this year. My sweet mini bell that I grew from seeds from a grocery store pepper, really doing well. Tons of, I didn't think it was going to put out near this much fruit, but in the last month it really came on. Tons of pods on there. There's got to be, a dozen and a half to 2 dozen on there total. And I did pick 2 of them so far, and they are really good tasting. There's one on the current harvest that I'll show you later. Stupid bee. Okay. And this is my giant ghost pepper. Let's go out a little. Still putting out a lot of pods and a lot of blooms and a lot of buds, so it's going to produce all the way into the end of the year, I'm sure. But you can see several nice pods. There's one that's getting ripe. I've picked several of these. They're in there. Or no, I didn't pick any of these yet. But this one will be ready in a week or less. It's nice and orange now, but there's a ton of pods on there. My Trinidad Scorpion Butch Tea, also doing real well. This one does have a pod that is just about ready to pick, but not quite. You can see a little orange on it yet there. Really nice looking pods here, and they do look true, so I think I got a pure strain there. And over here, my Carolina Reaper. I don't think this is I'm not sure if it's a pure strain or not, because some of the pods look very, very normal. Like this one looks pretty much normal, but like the ones I picked, like this one that's almost ripe, it looks more like a ghost pepper or something. So I don't know. I got several of those. We'll see. I'm going to put it up on Garden Web and see what everyone else thinks, what I got going here. That looks pretty much typical for a Carolina Reaper, so we'll see what they say. And here's another kind of unidentified plant. It was supposed to be a jalapeno grande or whatever, but these are definitely not jalapenos. You can see they're longer and skinnier, almost like a cross between a cayenne and a jalapeno. They are pretty hot, so they're in that range, but it's a good producer anyway. They do have corking on some of these pods. I don't know if you can see it or not. Here. See, that one has it. Like that's typical of jalapenos, but those are definitely not the right shape. I'll show you a jalapeno in a minute. My super cayenne, I picked a bunch of peppers off this already. It's growing real well. As you can see, there's still quite a few on here. It looks like it's pretty much quit putting out blooms, but now that I picked some of these, it might start back up. Quite a few on there. And then we get to the Thai Hot. I left several ripe ones on here. I want to wait till I get a bunch of them before I pick these, but you can see there's a ripe one in there. Another one down there. They grow in these clusters. It's kind of weird. But I picked one. I want to taste it. But they're supposed to be fairly hot, so I'm not relishing that, but I just want to test it. And here's my jalapeno. And this is what a jalapeno should look like. They're kind of stubby peppers, more like that. Here we go, that's a good one. That's how a jalapeno should look like, not long and skinny. So, but that's still putting out plenty of blooms, and there's plenty left on there. I'll get another good harvest off that yet this year. Alright, over here I got some peppers. I had to move some of my peppers to the driveway over here because they got so big they were crowding each other out. But here's my poblano. I picked a ton of peppers off here. There's only a few left. This is the biggest one that's left. I probably should have picked this one too. A couple smaller ones, but I picked a whole bunch off this. I'll show you those in a little while. I didn't think it was going to do much, but all of a sudden all the peppers grew. You know, there were a lot of little ones on there. And my Anaheim, this one put out a ton of peppers also. I'll show you those in a while. But here's a couple smaller ones on here yet. You can see. Them and the poblanos over here are relatively mild peppers, which is good. And then my Blue Mystery, this thing just is huge. I mean, stands 4.5 to 5 feet tall. You can see here's several of the peppers on it, but I don't think I've seen any ripen yet. I think they get like a dark color when they get ripe, but there's tons of them. And it reminds me a lot of my orange tree habanero, the way it's growing and the way the pods look on it. But you get these beautiful purple blooms on them. Here's one, really cool, and it's still producing tons. I mean, that thing looks like it produce for the next 5 years. So over here, oh, my container of zinnias, this thing's growing great. I struggled. I almost gave up on it this spring and threw them away, but man, they really came on once they got going. And then over here is the rest of my peppers. These are my Numex Heritage Big Jims, and I picked a ton of these. Ooh, I should have picked that one there. That's a big one. I'll grab it off of there. See if I can get it. It's kind of wedged in there. It doesn't want to come out. There we go. There we go. It's a nice pepper. They're supposed to be pretty mild also. So we'll see. Another Blue Mystery. This one I just didn't think was going to do anything either. It's not as big as the other one, but pretty close. Not producing a whole lot of peppers like the other one, but it's got a few. My Twilight, I was going to give up on this thing too, but it came around. It's still not as big as it should be, but that's due to the late start. And then this is my Cobra. Lots of long, skinny, almost like cayenne, but longer and skinnier. And they're supposed to be pretty hot, but none of them are anywhere near ripe yet, so I don't know. I'll have to wait, but I'm interested to see what those are like. And we come to the Hot Hungarian Wax, and I picked a ton of these. There's still, you can see this plant is my overwinter plant. That thing's still loaded, but they're still pretty small yet. I picked some, so hopefully it'll put some energy into growing what's on there bigger now. And all these, I picked a bunch of them. Just left the smaller. But they're still putting out plenty of blooms, so they'll be producing all the way into October when I gotta call it quits for the year. And that's about it.